Kia ora, good afternoon. So I just woke up from a nap, I don't know, about 40 minutes, an hour ago. And I had a dream I was in Santa Monica, that I was in the house I was staying in Santa Monica, and I was walking down to the beach. You literally just walked out of the house, turn right, and keep walking like 5 minutes, and you were on the beachfront of Santa Monica. Santa Monica Pier was to the right, and Gold's Gym and all the markets and that were, all those stalls and that were to the left. I've got photos on my memory card at the Dungeon of Doom that I need to, I have to get my stuff back. Um, and I just dreamt that I came out of the house and I was walking towards the beach. And I was sitting where I sat to do a reading for one of Colleen's former work colleagues who came out to have a drink with us. I was just talking about it. I've put links in the description box below. So Colleen's on the left in the red and Melissa's on the right, and they were students of mine. And I met Colleen through doing a reading for her in New York. I met her through, I believe, one of my former clients who was a supermodel by the name of Linda Oliver. I think I met her through her, and we just hit it off immediately. I did a reading for her because she was contemplating leaving New York to move to, well, not contemplating, she was moving from New York to California, and she was nervous. She wanted to know how everything was going to go, and we just hit it off immediately. And we were in contact for a few years, but I met her in 2016, and I went to stay with, I think it was 2016, and I went to stay with her in 2017. I may have met her sooner than 2016, because she had nothing to do with my students. I may have met her a lot sooner than 2016, but I met Linda through my blog, and then she introduced me to Colleen, and Colleen and I hit it off, and I went to stay with her at the beginning of 2017. It was the year I was going to marry Martin, and I went to stay with her, but she ended up becoming a student, and through her I met Melissa, and Melissa ended up becoming a student too. And Melissa's husband is the cameraman I was telling you about that gave me the advice about how to make my Mystery Inside History shows. Remember, I showed you stuff of me doing my podcasts with Nikki and Ria, training them up to prepare them for when I got to America and we made our TV shows. Well, Andy gave me some advice because he's a Hollywood cameraman, and he did movies like the Pirates of the Caribbean and the Expendables and all that. And he's a really lovely guy. And him and Melissa have been together since they were like really young, and they're like the role model couple, and they're so funny. Together as a couple, they are hilariously funny. And I woke up at thinking, why am I dreaming about Santa Monica? Colleen and Melissa gave up their jobs in finance to rescue animals, to save animals, to work with animals. Colleen was working with dogs where she would train dogs for the media and movies and all of that, because animals have a higher, dogs had a higher adoption rate if they had media exposure. And she knew that, and she wanted to capitalise on it for the purpose of saving dogs. And then they got picked up by Netflix, and Melissa gave up her job to support Colleen because she believed so much in what they were doing. And I was so proud of them. And I was teaching Colleen natural telepathy, how to talk to animals. And animals don't talk the way people think they do. They talk like people do. You can have full-blown conversations with them like you're sitting across the room from a human. They tell you everything. And Colleen had a deaf Dalmatian called Charlie. And Charlie told her everything she needed to know about him and his past life and why he came back as a dog and why he chose to be a Dalmatian who was deaf. And, you know, every time she'd pull him up for something and he'd make a noise, I'd speak on his behalf, and it bonded their relationship. They were close anyway, but it made them understand each other more. And we even talked about me returning to do a show where I went around people's houses talking to people's pets on behalf of their pets. You know, a lot of people think, oh, if they make that bark, it means this. If they make that noise and do this, it means, you know, that. But it's not like that at all. That's such a limited, closed view of how animals communicate. They have a conscience. And when they have a connection to their humans, they want to be able to communicate with them in an expressive, emotional way. If they show displeasure in that, you know, like they're going to yell at you and it's going to sound like a human is telling you off. And I was teaching this to Colleen so that when she stepped into working with these animals for Hollywood and, you know, movies and all of that, she would better be able to understand them. And I remember when I did my reading for Melissa, when I first met Melissa, I told her about how her and her husband were going to get involved in this. I said it looked like a camp or a school where they would take the opportunity to drive to the school that was surrounded by trees in the middle of nowhere, because it would give them an opportunity to bond and spend time together one-on-one in their marriage. And they'd, you know, take a couple of days and they'd do it over the school holidays when, you know, the youngest didn't have to worry about school and all of that sort of thing. And, you know, a car boot full of bags and pillows and blankets, and they'd take turns driving and stop at places along the way, and it would strengthen their marriage. And I said that it's like they were going to be teachers and that they were going to command the stage. And then, of course, later on, when I was working on building my school in inner city New York, I had kind of said to them, like, would you come over and help with the kids? And they were like, hell yeah we would. Andy was going to come and teach the kids how to, you know, work movie cameras, and Melissa was going to teach art and theatre, because Melissa was a child actor on a kids show in Utah when she was younger. And they were like, we'll be there with bells on. And, you know, we were all set to go when everything got stopped and fell apart. But she was also an artist, and I had asked if I could put some of her paintings in my art gallery for when we had Women in Art Month, because I was going to do women in art, men in art, Indigenous art, you know, all that sort of thing. And she was going to ship her paintings over to my art gallery, because she's one of the very few female artists who paint that I actually like. And I don't know why I'm thinking about them. The colleague of Colleen's that I did the reading for on the Santa Monica beach is the one who gave me the advice about when you're going to build your school, this is what you need to do. And I never forgot his advice. And another one of their friends that they worked with, her fiance, Jade's fiance, is the orthopedic surgeon who I helped. Remember I said I was helping him with his orthopedic pillow, which later on ended up becoming biorhythmic engineering for myself in a different area, but using the same, applying the same science. And I'm just wondering why I woke up, why I dreamt about Santa Monica. They weren't in the dream, but every time I think about Santa Monica, I can't help but think about Colleen and Melissa. I lived with Colleen in the first house ever built in Santa Monica. Big, beautiful, gorgeous blue house. It was gorgeous, worth a lot of money. It was huge. And the lady who owned it died. And Colleen was allowed to live there until it got sold or something. And she let me stay there, and it was incredible. It was one of the best times of my life. I was just talking about how we all went out for that drink. And every time I stood up, I had everyone in the bar going, New Zealand! Oh, God. I don't know why I woke up thinking about them. I don't know why they've been brought into my periphery, because we haven't talked in a couple of years. It's not because there's been animosity or anything like that. It's just they left being students because they had to focus on this business and getting the show up and running and rescuing animals. And I mean, of course, I sent them off with a hug and a kiss, because it's like rescuing animals. I mean, duh. But I don't think Colleen realises how much she inspired me, and I don't think Melissa and Andy realise how much they encouraged what I'm building now. And I'm thinking I've still got the emails. I should probably reach out to them, but I'd rather do it when I'm in America, because I know that the last time I spoke to Colleen, she was in Arizona, and I think getting ready to move to South Africa to be with her husband Peter. They had a baby, and they were going to be building ASA, the Animal Safari of Africa, which was named after the little boy in South Africa that they were going to adopt. His name was Asa, but he got killed, and he got hit by a car riding his bike, I think, or he got hit by a bike crossing the street or something. He was 5, and she was devastated, and I was the first person she came to. She came to me for everything. I was there when she came up with the name Pets on Cue, the name of her business. I helped her with her, like giving her advice about the direction to take her business, and because she knew she had to let go of stuff and she had decisions to make and blah, blah, blah. She wanted confirmation from me that she was heading in the right direction, because she trusted my guidance. God, imagine if she came to me now with my abilities being what it is. That's when I was still a baby. I used to call her Puppy, because she had all the love and loyalty and enthusiasm of a puppy. And Melissa was Bella, because she was so beautiful, just like inside and out. If you've ever met someone who is so beautiful on the inside and out, she was like, she glowed. And when she was in the presence of her husband, she glowed even more. So I called her Bella. That was her nickname. And she'd even sign off, Bella, love Bella. So am I being told to reach out to them? Because the thing is, when I build my foundation now, surrounded by trees in the middle of nowhere in upstate New York, I would absolutely love to offer Melissa and Andy the chance to come out and be teachers for the kids when they were able to fit it around their schedules. They wanted to walk away from all of that, and what I was offering them was like a dream come true, because they wanted to write their own plays and put on their own shows and do stand-up and all of that, but they had commitments to their job because having to pay bills. They lived out in Brentwood and had young children and all of that, but it's not where their heart was, and I was offering them the chance to have a taste of it. But when I get to New York, I might message them and say, hey, what are you guys up to? Do you want to come over and, do you want to do something? Do you want to pick up where we left off? Because Andy's got the sort of skills in the movie industry as far as camera work is concerned, that he could teach to the children while we're making our movies. And instead of doing it for Hollywood, the Hollywood grind, he'd be doing it for a good cause. And they were right up for that sort of thing, because they have those kind of hearts where they care about their children, and their two daughters were amazing, who were just as loving and kind and smart and caring as their parents. Their children were a testament to their parents. So I'm thinking, am I being told to reach out to them? If I am, I'm going to wait until I get to New York so that I have something on paper to offer them. And maybe once I get the hotel built and the stages built, offer to bring them out and put them in the hotel so I can discuss offering them, because they were going to, while they were there, basically run the theatre, and Melissa was going to teach art classes. So it means that they would have directed things like any of my stage performances and my cabaret. My cabarets would have been this sort of thing that would have been right up their alley for directing and acting in, and yeah, with their senses of humour, and that they could have been on the writing team and all of that as well. But they were going to be like the theatre directors and help out with the cameras and the art and all of that, because like I said, that's their entire life. With Melissa, she was in a really famous, I don't know if it was a soap opera or a kids show in Utah when she was younger. So, that's in her blood. It's everything she is. And with Colleen working with the animals, I don't think she realised how much she inspired me, especially with wanting to have my rescue centre, my animal rescue centre. Remember I said the other day, when I have my animal rescue centre, I'll know I've made it. I can die happy knowing I finally made it, because that's the ultimate goal beyond my space program. My animal totem oils. Yeah, rescuing horses. Because I told her she was going to have working farm where all her animals would end up being used in movies. Now, I'm not going to be doing that, but I am going to, because I said that she'd be rescuing horses. I'm going to be doing that. I'll be rescuing animals, but I'll be rescuing horses for the movies, to put them as extras in movies and that, and part of horse, healing therapy. So I don't know why, but I'm thinking, yeah, I think I might reach out to them. I've still got the emails, so I might reach out to them and see how they're doing. We were following each other on Instagram, but everything went pear-shaped, as you know. Um, yeah, so I'm thinking, Colleen had even offered for me and the boys to stay at her apartment in New York, which overlooked Central Park. Apparently Chelsea Clinton was one of her neighbours. But yeah. One of her friends is the one I did the card reading for on my channel about her love life. Remember Diego? I never forget that. So, yeah, I'm wondering if I'm being told to, because one of them might have been thinking about me and I picked up on it while I was asleep. Maybe we dreamt about each other. If it was Colleen's house, maybe it was Colleen. Maybe she's thinking about me and I picked up on it, or maybe she dreamt about me and we dreamt about each other. I don't know. I mean, she is like 8 hours behind me. Oh, Arizona. If she's still in Arizona, I don't know. She could be in South Africa with her husband now. And their baby. So, I mean, it's not going to hurt to reach out. But I think I'll wait until I get to New York, unless they reach out first. Just because I want to be able to be in a position to have the money to offer my support. And if it turns out she is in South Africa or she's doing stuff with animals, I want to be able to offer financial support, like be a patron, give them the help they need. Like I can send my veterans out there if they need patrol for the African safari. I had already discussed this with her one of the last times we spoke. And then if she wanted to do her own show, she could put it on my channel. Do it her way. She they loved making the show, but it wasn't how she wanted it to be. But she kind of jumped through the hoops because she just wanted to get her work out there for the sake of rescuing the animals. And then she became a pet talent agent. So, yeah, I want to be able to support them. So I think unless I'm about to hear from one of them, I think I'll wait till I get to New York and I'll reach out and say, hey, I'm in New York. I won my lawsuit. I'm getting ready to build in upstate New York. Do you still want to come on board? To Melissa and Andy and with Colleen, see what she's up to, and if she's still working with animals or rescuing animals, saying, how can I help? What do you need? So, also, some stuff's come out about Anne Widdecombe's assassin. I've put a link in the description box below. You're going to find it very interesting. Now the whole connection with Nigel Farage and the dream with her in the church and the cathedral, and her and Farage and King Charles, being in the dream making sense, and that her murder was connected to the man in London, and him being the murderer being sent by somebody else. Now it all makes sense. Now that and there being a police cover up and faking a burglary to cover it all up. Now this new information has come out. All the codes in that dream make perfect sense. So you want to check it out. So yeah, everything about the girls is in the description box below. And we'll see what happens. But if they are, I mean, I have to assume it was Colleen, because we had that kind of connection anyway with her being a Gemini. Melissa's Pisces. And it was her house, so yeah, I'll wait till I get to America, and then I'll reach out to them and see what's going on and see what I can do for them. Because they're two incredible young women who deserve the support. Especially Melissa and Andy, they're so unbelievably talented. It's mind-blowing. They're the sort of people who deserve to. They have the kind of skills and abilities that disadvantaged children, that abused children, that neglected children, that the freaks, geeks, nerds, dorks and weirdos would 100% benefit from. And they'd make good money, and they'd get to do what they love. They'd finally get to live their dream, even if it is only for a couple of months of the year. So we'll just see. Anyway, I'm going to go. So I shall speak to you later. Links in the description box. Ka kite. Mwah.